In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious lower calorie version of spaghetti bolognese using turkey mince, and all we're going to be using is the pressure cooker. Super easy, super quick meal prep that I'm sure you're going to love. So without further ado, let's get into the kitchen and whip this up. Let's go. Hi, I'm Aleksa, sports dietitian, nutrition coach. Welcome again to one of my recipe videos. Thank you as always for clicking and watching. But before we get into today's recipe and show you how to make this delicious and easy spaghetti bolognese, I just want to say first that you want to subscribe and ring that bell so you can stay in the loop and stay up to date with every video that I release. So pasta meals tend to have a bad rap. People tend to think, okay, they're high in carbs, they're associated with being a fattening food, and therefore they're not healthy for us. But in actual fact, not only can you eat pasta and still live a healthy life, not only can you eat pasta, still lose weight, maintain a good physique, as an athlete, you should be considering pasta as a great fueling meal because of the combination of protein and carbs that you get from it. So don't hate on pasta. Pasta is a delicious way to get your nutrients in. There are no good and bad foods. Pasta is definitely not one of the bad foods or the less nutritious foods. It's just saying that, well, if you're like me, you can eat a lot of it, and therefore if you're trying to keep your calories on the wrap, it could be a bit hard for some people, but with the right strategy and the right plan, you can't go wrong. So today we're going to show you how to make a turkey version of spaghetti bolognese. Obviously not a traditional one. I do tend to make the traditional one more often than the turkey one, but sometimes I just want to mix it up, make something different, make something a bit low in calorie. It's going to give me my week's worth of meals straight up from there. And we're going to be using the pressure cooker, as I have shown you in previous videos, okay, because it's such an easy way to meal prep and there's no more excuse of time and all this sort of stuff. So you can whip it all up, have it ready to go, nutrition will be on point. And with today's recipe, the ingredients are gonna be super simple, very basic stuff that you can easily kind of grab from the store. You might even have a lot of this stuff already hanging around in your house, so it's super easy. I'm sure you're gonna love it, so let's get into it, show you how to make it, and go from there. Okay, so everything you're gonna need is right here in front of you. The only thing that's not here is the water we'll be using, as well as obviously the oil, because it's self-explanatory. You're going to use some olive oil in our recipe. So as you can see, what we're going to be using is a different pasta today. We're going to be using this Veta Smart protein penne pasta that I can get from Coles. Okay, Coles just being the supermarket here in Australia. If you're not from Australia, might be a different story. I'm sure you have something similar, but if you actually look at the back, okay, if you look at the back, you'll be able to see that protein dose is a lot higher than normal pasta. So not only is this going to be more filling, it's going to give us a bigger dose of protein as well. So, you know, who doesn't love proteins? So that's a good choice to go with. Then, of course, we're going to be using some sauce. Now, this is where people get divided. Oh, aren't you going to make your own pasta sauce? Oh, the purpose of today's recipe is to show you an easy way that you can use the pressure cooker and whip something up for the week ahead. A lot of us live busy lives, especially athletes. We need something that's going to be still healthy, but delicious, and still going to help us hit our nutrition goal. So this is going to help. Now, obviously, you can just use the crushed tomatoes in a tin, you know, if you want to go more from scratch. I just personally like this pasta sauce. There's not too much in it, and I like the texture of it. It tastes good. So that's what I'm going to go with. And of course, we're going to use some tomato paste as well to concentrate the flavors of the tomato in there. Our veggies for today is going to keep it nice and simple. We're going to have an onion, and we're going to have 2 carrots. Yeah, you can obviously add other stuff to it as well. You can add celery, you can add mushrooms and all that sort of stuff. You know, it doesn't really matter. With spaghetti meals and pasta meals, so to speak, you can really just make yourself basically what you want, really. Now, I did mention we're going to use turkey mince. Okay, so this is going to be using some turkey mince, which is going to be a lot leaner than the normal kind of beef mince. But yeah, you can find even leaner sauces than this, but this is going to be good enough for today's recipe. It's the one that I usually get. I get it from Aldi. You can't go wrong. We're going to use some Worcestershire sauce, or however you say, Worcestershire sauce or Worcestershire sauce. I've said it right in the past, but you know, let's make a joke out of it because everyone does. So yeah, some of that sauce for that delicious flavor that it adds, that different hint of flavor that it adds. Obviously, for seasonings, we're going to use some iodized salt, black pepper, and some oregano leaves. Now, I would ideally use mixed Italian herbs for this. I don't have any left. I thought I did, but I don't. Oops. So we're going to just be using some oregano leaves. It'll be fine. We'll work the same way. Okay, so that's basically the ingredients ready to go. So let's show you how to make it and go from there. As always, we're going to be using my trusty pressure cooker / instant pot / awesome appliance that helps me make these meals super easy for you. So first thing we do is we're going to prep the vegetables. So we're going to dice up the onion And honestly, you can chop up the carrot if you want it more chunky. I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm actually going to grate the carrot. Okay, I'm going to grate the carrot and put that in that way, okay? But first of all, we're obviously going to just cut this onion. Cut it however you want, as long as it's safe. Okay, peel the skin away. Chuck to the side. The skin here is a bit harder to, hit the camera there. I'll just make sure that it's all set nicely. There we go. You can see me properly, which is what matters. And this skin is being annoying today. Okay, I'm just gonna peel this. I'm gonna use this knife. There we go. Sorry if my arm went in front of the camera. Apologies for that. Okay, so I'm gonna dice this up, but who wants to watch Aleksa dice up an onion? Such a simple task, not exciting at all. So what we're gonna do instead is I'm gonna use the magic of YouTube. Ta-da, there we go. All diced up, ready to cook. Okay, so that's in the bowl, ready to go. Now what we got is a grater. I'm going to be using the old school grater. Okay, I'm using some grit and some muscle, okay, to grate those carrots. But obviously, if you've got a electronic grater of some sort, use that. I'm considering getting one. Makes it easy. Okay, makes it a lot more simple. But yeah, anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab these 2 carrots and we're going to grate it up. But again, do you really want to watch me grate a carrot? No. So with the magic of YouTube, okay, there we go. All grated up in the bowl, ready to cook. Let's get into it. Okay, so what happens now is going to put the oil in this pressure cooker. I'm going to put it on high saute or whatever kind of setting that you have similar in your equipment. And we're going to first cook up the vegetables with the meat, with the oil, and cook that for about 8 minutes. And then we're going to add the other ingredients. But I did forget one thing, garlic. Can't believe I forgot it, but that's going to go in there as well. So FYI. Okay, so I'm going to grab our trusted extra virgin olive oil, the best oil you can use for this. And we're going to go for about 2 tablespoons. Now, obviously, this isn't the most accurate, but I've been doing it for a while. So oil-wise, I can get pretty accurate. But for now, this is just for me to show you how to make this recipe. A bit less, a bit extra oil is not going to really influence the dish too much. So obviously, if you're tracking calories, make sure you're tracking this very strategically because this will get out of hand quickly. But as you can see, roughly there, 2 tablespoons. Okay, so I just brought it down the level so I can show you what we're going to use. I'm going to use the saute sear / high temperature setting. And we're going to actually set the cooking time to 13 minutes. Just for this first step, I'm going to be using about 13 minutes. Okay, I'm going to start that. That's going to start heating up. So now what we're going to do is throw in the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so the oil's starting to heat up a bit. So we're going to throw in our onions. Our carrots, the garlic, and then last but not least, the turkey mince. Take out the paper. So now that they're all in, just break up the meat and just cook this for about 8 minutes, okay? About 8 minutes just for its nice and combined, and then we're going to add the other ingredients. I'll show you how to do it. But for now, kind of break this up, let it cook through. And you're good to go. Now, while that's cooking, I just want to mention something. Obviously, I said this is a spaghetti bolognese, and obviously, this is not a spaghetti. Sue me. Okay, it's a pasta meal. We all know what we mean when we're saying spaghetti bolognese. So you can use any pasta you want. I use these. You can use spirals. You can use actual spaghetti. Okay, in this same recipe, I can use actual spaghetti. So it doesn't really matter. Just choose the pasta that you enjoy. I'm going with this one's high protein. It says literally twice the amount of protein. It's got a bit less carbs. Not that I care about that, but yeah, just choose the pasta you enjoy. Something like this, you can't go wrong. But use spaghetti, obviously, if you want to use just spaghetti. Obviously, from time to time, while it's cooking for these 8 minutes, just kind of stir it through, break up the meat. Just, cook it like you would normally spaghetti bolognese. Okay.
A few moments later.
Okay, so this now is 8 minutes cooked. As you can see, the texture is exactly where it needs to be. So what we're going to do now is going to add in some of that tomato paste. We're going to add about 4 tablespoons. That's about 4 tablespoons because I did heaped ones. Going to add a whole jar of this. You can do the old trick where you like swiv water in there. I'm not going to do that here because I have to be careful with the amount of water I'm using in this because I don't want to kind of, stuff up the recipe. And I'll be adding some water soon with the cooking process. Okay, now we're going to add some of this, about 90 mils, 90 plus mils, up to you how much you want. I'm going to add just about 90. As you can see here on the screen, you probably won't be able to see it. I'm going to be using this. I'm going to zero it out. I'm going to set it to liquid. And I'm just going to kind of test out. See, 15, 30, quite a bit. What I'm doing here is a reverse way. 83, just a little bit more. That's close enough. Not going to risk stuffing it up, so I'm just going to leave it there. But that's what you call a reverse way. You weigh it, tear it, do it in reverse. And now what we're going to do is add the herbs and spices. Okay, so I'm going to add about 4 tablespoons of this. That. And then the salt. Honestly, the salt is just a taste, so I'll put it into my hand there. That's enough. Pepper's honestly optional. Doesn't really come standard with this recipe, so I'm just going to put some just because I like it a bit peppery. Okay. I'm going to mix that through and cook for another 5 or so minutes. Okay, cook for another 5 or so minutes. Let that all combine. And honestly, it's already smelling delicious. I can't wait to eat this. Now, what I'm making here, I should probably say, is about double the recipe. If you want to make less, literally just halve what I just did. But we'll back in a second to show you the rest of the steps. Okay, so this now looks amazing, smells amazing. It's ready for the final step, which is very, very simple. Grab yourself the pasta. Grab yourself, obviously, one of these. There we go, zero it out. I'm just going to put a bowl there. I'm going to get 500 grams. Okay, so that's 380. A little bit more. Oops. Don't lose any of the pastas. There we go. 501. Pretty good. So what I'm going to do is going to add that into the mix. And then we're going to add about 270 to 300 mils of water. Now, even though I'm doubling up the recipe, you don't need to double up the water in this pressure cooker because the way the pressure cooking works is a bit different to the traditional way. You just need enough for the pressure to kind of seal it and start cooking it. So I'm just going to mix it through just to make sure it's all where it needs to be. There we go. Okay, all we do now is seal this. Obviously, we turn it off first. Where is it? There we go. Because now we're going to use a different setting. We're going to use the stewing setting. Oh, sorry, I'll be making a mistake here. There we go. And then we're going to set the time. To 30 minutes. And we're going to start that. Okay, so we're going to set it on stew for 30 minutes and we could be back. Make sure this is all sealed because that's the way it works. Back in a sec.
1 hour later.
Okay, so this is ready to go. Now you'll notice that there's no steam coming out. It's because this recipe is different. It's a pasta recipe. It's not like the rice recipe where it's going to have more steam to it. So with this one, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, you just open it up. Okay. Okay, so there you go. I opened it up. As you can see, it looks amazing on us. Honestly, the smell. I've been sitting over there and it's been making me salivate. Okay, so just gonna mix the fruit and just leave it to cool for a little bit. You can cool it with this on as well if you want to steam it up a little bit. Doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna plate it up in a second. I'm gonna do a taste test and we're gonna tell you exactly how many calories and macros in this. Let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna plate this up now. I'm gonna go for about 400 gram serve. Almost there. There we go. Ooh, nearly had it, Okay, very close. There we go. One bowl, 400 grams of turkey penne pasta. Now, this is not quite ready yet. Parmesan. How can we have this pasta dish with a little bit of Parmesan? There we go. I'm just using this stuff from Aldi. It's actually quite good, but you can obviously get your own more expensive Parmesan and just grate it up. This is not the most fancy Parmesan. I don't really care. I like the taste of it. It's still fine. So there you go. That's all ready. Let's do a taste test and go from there. Okay, here we go. Smells so good and look how good it looks. Oh, and you can even see like the Parmesan now melting into the pasta. But that's basically the penne pasta turkey recipe that I want to show you. And let's do a taste test. I just love pasta meals. I don't know about you, but I'm just really into pasta meals. So when people hate on pasta, I never get it. That tastes so good. Honestly, just ridiculous. Taste-wise, can't go wrong. But let's see what the macros are. Let's see what the calories and macros are. So for that 400 gram or one bowl of this, not including the Parmesan, okay, I'm not going to include the Parmesan because everyone uses different Parmesan. Everyone uses different amounts. So, we can just go ifs and buts and coconuts if we're just doing that. So I'm not going to worry about the Parmesan in the recipe. I'm not going to include that. But just the pasta in itself for 400 gram bowl, it's about 476 calories. You can even it out, 475. It's about 34 grams of protein, perfect, right where it needs to be. 80 grams of carbs, so great refueling meal if you're around that 80 kilogram mark especially. And about 8 grams of fats. So obviously using the turkey mince, it cuts back on the fats, and most of the fats just come from a little bit from the turkey, but mostly from the extra virgin olive oil. So honestly, it's a low fat version, not that there has to be low fat, but it is low fat, high carb, high protein, delicious, and honestly, 476 calories for a main meal. You can't go wrong with that. That's actually not too bad. That's actually reasonable. You gotta remember, as an athlete, you don't have to be, everything has to be low calorie, this and that and that. Okay, you can be a bit more flexible in that, trust me. So now what I want you to do is create this yourself. Now, obviously, if you don't know Instant Pot, then, well, this recipe wasn't for you. Like, you probably didn't even click it. But if you watch this far, you're either thinking about getting an Instant Pot / pressure cooker, or you already have one. So I want you to give it a go. Obviously, your unit might be different to mine. So obviously, you might need to play around with it. Hopefully the first batch goes well, but I'm sure it will. I never had a mistake when I did my first one, so it should be fine. But I want you to create yourself, okay? I want you to create your own bowl of goodness and post it up on social media, post it on Instagram or Facebook and tag me at The Climbing Dietitian. I want to see your creations and see how you went and how much you enjoyed it. Now, of course, I want to know in the comments below, did you enjoy this recipe? Okay, just comment below, let me know. Did you like it? Give me a thumbs up. Tell me a bit about it. Tell me your favorite pasta dish. Just, let's communicate. Let's get the conversation going. So comment below if you enjoyed today's recipe. And while you're at it, might as well hit that like button as well and show it some love. Show it that you enjoyed this recipe so that my recipe can feel good about itself. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already done so. I always say, if you want to stay up to date with any recipe videos I make, just click the subscribe button and you're good to go. So until next time, hope you stay safe, stay classy, have a good one. See you later.